This is the second part of week one. I want to say there are 5 basic classes in contemporary America. We have what is known as the elite classes, and these are occupied by a small group of individuals and families who enjoy unusual wealth and power. Membership in this class is based on inherited wealth, institutional position, or a combination of the two. There are 2 groups that make up the elite. We have the capitalist elite and the institutional elite. The capitalist elite are individuals and families who possess vast economic resources in the form of land and businesses and property, stocks and bonds. And there are some families where wealth has passed through many generations. They often have familiar names such as the Rockefellers, the Heinz, Ford, Kennedys. They're often called old money. Others, typically referred to as the new rich, it includes Sam Walton, Bill Gates. In other words, these are your self-made millionaires. The institutional elite, this is the segment of the elite that is positional, based on leadership of the major institutions of society. For example, in the corporate sector, we have top executives, banks, insurance companies, investment firms. In the government sector, we've got the president, vice president, the cabinet officers, the chairs of major congressional committees such as finance and armed services, Supreme Court justices, and staff rank officers in the military. In the public sector, executives of the major media, the 25 largest private colleges and universities, the 50 largest foundations that control about half of all endowments, the senior partners in the 25 largest law firms, various civic and cultural organizations such as Red Cross. We can go on and on and on with examples of those. Then we have the middle classes, okay? We have the upper middle class, which is made up of managers, administrators, professionals with college educations. Most are salaried employees, but some members of professions such as law, dentistry, and medicine remain self-employed. The bulk of this class occupy mid-level positions such as stockbrokers, accountants, university faculty, engineers, and so forth and so on. At the upper levels are plant managers, directors of human resources, deans, and etc. And at the lower levels of this class are your clergy, teachers, and social workers. The lower middle class, among the specific jobs, are bank tellers, postal clerks, receptionists, secretaries, sales workers who act as representatives of the company to customers, telemarketers, retail sales personnel, first line supervisory jobs, and etc. Members of this class generally work directly for members of the upper middle class. Then we have the working class, which is known as the blue-collar worker. There is a great diversity among this group. Some workers earn wages and have fairly stable employment, while others have an uncertain future with harsh working conditions. There are 2 different groups that make up the working class. Make sure you know these. These are the craft workers and the machine operators, which is your industrial workers. The craft workers included in this segment of the working class are people in the construction trades, such as electricians, carpenters, plumbers, etc. Certainly automotive technicians, metal workers, printers. We can go on and on and on with those. Now, the machine operators, or the industrial workers, this is the second major block of blue-collar workers that have traditionally been called operatives to emphasize their connection to the machinery of modern manufacturing. Much of their work involves operating, adjusting, feeding, tending, or maintaining machines of one sort or another. And it also includes tasks in which the worker does not really control the machinery, such as assembly line work. Then we have the poor. This class includes both those working on a regular basis, such as the working poor, and those that are not currently in the labor force. The working poor, these people fill the most marginal jobs in the economic system. The type of work is usually low pay, which is pay that is sometimes insufficient to raise workers above the poverty line. For example, parking lot valets, gas station attendants, dishwashers, some food service people, agricultural workers, and so forth and so on. The unemployed is people in unskilled and service jobs that are the most vulnerable. And then we have the poorest of the poor. These are people who face prolonged periods of unemployment, persistent poverty. This group is referred to as the underclass. The underclass is a group of people that's at risk of being trapped in a cycle of poverty, and they lack the resources to break free. I have a list of minority groups in the United States, and we'll be looking at this later on. Certainly African American or Black, Hispanic or Latino, Asian, Pacific Islander, Native American or American Indian. We have white or Caucasian, and then we have gender. Now, I want to elaborate just a little bit more on social stratification. Rankings from high to low are only one aspect of social stratification. The way people live, which is often referred to as their lifestyle, such as the work they do, the quality of their food and housing, the education they can provide for their children, the way they use their leisure time, are all shaped by their place in the stratification system. And the way people are grouped with respect to access to scarce resources does determine their life chances. And like I stated earlier, this is just the opportunities that a person will have or be denied throughout life. Make sure you know what life chances are. The kinds of education and health care they'll receive, the occupations that will be open to them, how they're going to spend their retirement years, even where they're going to be buried. The place in a society's stratification system into which a person is born has an enormous impact on what he or she does and what they become throughout life. A poor child may overcome poverty and succeed, but the experience of struggling out of poverty will leave a permanent mark on his or her personality, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in detail later. Most people who are born poor will not attain affluence and leisure, even in the most open society.